Hey YouTube, this is Southern Purple 1. I'm going to talk about firewood, staying warm. I'm going to show you what I'm doing. And most of my videos are just what I'm doing. Your circumstances are going to be totally different than mine. A lot of things will overlap, so a lot of things that you do, I probably do. Some of you live way up in Minnesota. You're going to have to do a lot more firewood. Some live in Florida. Firewood's really not that big of a deal other than maybe doing some outside cooking in an emergency. Let me show you my firewood. Last year I used from that end post all of this. This has been restacked for this year, and I used about right down to about well, that kindling wood that will be new slid is new. It was right down to there, so I used all that, just one single stack. I had left all that, and then I have another probably about 60-70 feet that's not split, but it's all cut into big chunks and sitting drying that I'll be working on this winter, and then putting some more wood back. But I heat with wood. That's what I heat totally in our little house. It works great because the cabin is set up that way. Some of the things I did setting it up was by accident, but it's really worked out great. Some things I wish I'd have done a little different. The wood stove is in the living room. I wish I would have put it more centrally located, but it's such a small house that it's really no problem to heat it. I can roast this out of there, and it's just with wood. So I heat with wood now. Why do I heat with wood now? Well, one reason I heat with wood now is because I have not hooked up the furnace yet. I have it. Got to run some duct work, but I would run it anyways, the wood, because I like it. Plus, what it has done, it has shown me easy ways to get the wood, easy ways to heat. So in a WROL situation or an emergency, a crisis, I'm not experimenting because I've already mastered how to heat my house. So it's good to get things done like that, because now I know a lot more than if I've been relying on the electric heat and all of a sudden it goes off. Then I'd be like, oh man, I got to learn a lot of stuff under a crisis situation. So I've mastered that part. I also heat the kids' cottage with wood. They're not home a lot, so a lot of times I don't even start a fire over there, or if I do, I don't keep it going all day long, that's for sure. What do I have to help me out on this task? This is what sits next to the wood stove in the house. Container, keeps the firewood in. It's metal, so if it is sitting close to the fire, it's not plastic. I like that. Pair of gloves that are always sitting next to the wood stove. In case you got to grab something quickly in an emergency, open the stove, it's good to have this on so you don't get burned. This is for ash. Cleaning it out. When you burn it all the time, you get a lot of ash. I like it with the metal lid, so that way when I clean it out, I can put the lid on it and put it on the front porch, and I know the wind, because if not, sometimes the wind is blowing and you got hot ashes in there. It can stir that fire up really good inside it, so they start glowing really red. And you don't want those hot embers blowing around your front porch or around your house. So recommend 100%, make sure you put a lid on it. Make sure everybody knows that this is going to be hot. If you got little kids, don't put it where they can touch it, because when you put those hot ashes in here, this gets very hot. It can severely burn you. It might be good if you put a bunch in there and it's winter time and you got a small hoop house or greenhouse, just carry that out and put it in that small hoop house. Now it's not going to do a big one, but if you got a small one that will generate some heat during the night and might make the difference of bringing that temperature up to keep plants alive. Kindling buckets. During the year I save anything that I need, lumber scraps, and then I split them, or even just little cut-off spots. I use that for kindling. I think this is the most important thing, is cleaning your chimney. I'll be honest with you, I'm scared to death of a chimney fire. I clean my chimney, the one in the house, probably almost 4 times a year. Yes, probably once a month during the season is being cleaned. And while I'm cleaning it, I'm inspecting the connections, everything. Last winter we had 3 house fires caused by chimney problems. And they're terrible because usually they occur at night, and a lot of times in the middle of the night. And by the time the homeowner wakes up or the alarm goes off, it's a severe structure fire. So this is a 6-inch brush for my pipe. I go up on the roof, take the cap off, and I clean it. It doesn't take me probably 2 to 3 minutes to clean it. Very quick. What I did was I bought this. I think I paid like $10 for the brush. And this is CPVC. You could probably use PVC. Connection, just screw it in. It works great. You can get that at the hardware store. And you know, for 15-20 bucks, you got a complete setup. Now granted, mine only needs to be that long, but if you have a longer section, you can just always connect it. I like it being very flexible. As you can see here, this is going to be it's flexible. I would hate to use a really rigid one and push too hard and separate any of those connections. So this tends to be a little bit more forgiving. I've also got it so I know exactly when my brush is at this furthest point down, so I know how much is sticking out, so I can make sure there's nothing stuck in there. I just got up off the roof and checked it, re-cleaned it. I really didn't need to, just to make sure nothing got in there, birds. There was a mud dauber's nest on the outside of the pipe, so I cleaned that off and we're ready to start our first fire. This is what I do for heat. You need to find a heat plan. It might not be wood. If you're in a suburban area, your best bet might be a little propane heater and only heat part of your house. Today's houses are not designed to live in without electricity or natural gas. 100 years ago, houses were built differently. They were built to bring in the summertime, the cool breezes. They had big porches that wrapped around them to keep the sun from blaring into you and heating up your room during the summertime, especially down south. So think of your heating plan. I challenge you, get that plan down, because probably this winter, no matter where you live, up north or even in the south where I am in South Carolina, we'll probably lose power, and you'll want to keep your family warm. And I challenge you, think long term, a worst case crisis. Can you keep your family warm? It might be just keeping 1 or 2 rooms of your home warm, but I challenge you to do that. I went for breakfast today with a friend of mine and his family, and his daughter is a new prepper. She is doing a wonderful job. But they have some muscadines, and she made some muscadine jelly. Now, she's a college student, and it's very rare and hard to find young college students, especially females, that are into prepping. But she made jelly. This was the first time she's ever made jelly. Their family's never made jelly. So I was extremely proud of her. I actually had some jelly this morning. Extremely good. And this is muscadine jelly. Muscadines are similar to a grape that grow really well in the South. A lot of times when we do conferences, and we have a conference coming up in Florida, I think November 2nd and 3rd, there's a lot of older people there at those conferences. There's not a lot of young people. So it was very encouraging to see her getting into canning. She's going to take some of those muscadines and make some wine. So it's nice to see young people doing the old task that 100 years ago was just a task to keep us alive. It was just a common task everyone did. So I appreciate the muscadine jelly. I'm going to have it breakfast for the next week or so until it's polished off. And it won't last long, it's so good. So, what's your plan to keep your family warm? If you're a parent, that is your responsibility. Think of it now. Think of it when you have all the ability to go to the store and buy whatever products you need to stay warm. And then experiment with them. Shut the heat off for a day. See if you can at least keep a couple rooms warm. Hopefully this will be an easy winter, because an easy winter means I don't have to burn as much wood. If I don't have to burn as much wood, I don't have to work as so hard during the winter and the next summer to get wood put up. But get a plan. Thanks for watching.